Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. I am Mary, UX designer at IronPlane and Snowdog, and today I'd like to talk about a very important element in any e-commerce experience, which is the checkout process. From the business perspective, this is the moment where a conversion happens. From the user perspective, this is often the most stressful and least enjoyable part of the entire shopping journey. Users might already like the product, trust the brand, and be ready to buy. However, many of them still leave their carts at the final stage. And very often, the reason is not the price, but poor checkout experience. So let's go through a few UX recommendations that help create an efficient, user-friendly checkout. And in the end of the presentation, I will show you a very well-designed example of the checkout that supports clients and help them go through the whole checkout experience. And if any questions appear after the presentation, feel free to reach out by our email. We will be very happy to answer and help you. So let's start with the first recommendation, which is explain why you're asking for specific information. Whenever users see a field that feels a little bit sensitive, they immediately start wondering why you need this information. So, for example, you're asking the customer for their phone number. Explain to them why you need this information, for example, by using a tooltip that can be placed next to the field for the phone number. It's a very small detail, but it builds trust and removes doubts. And the next point is to minimize distractions during the checkout. At this stage, users don't want to browse anymore. They already made a decision. They just want to pay and leave. So that's why checkout should be as clean as possible. It means no navigation, no main navigation, no categories, no promotion banners. In most cases, a simple header just with logo, it's more than enough. So the fewer distraction you have, the easier it is for users to focus and complete the purchase. Another very important thing is a clear and transparent order summary. Users want to see exactly what they are paying for at every checkout step. That means product details, delivery costs, taxes, discounts, and of course the final price. And the key here is consistency. The order summary shouldn't suddenly change at the last step because unexpected costs are often the reason why people leave their carts. So transparency here is absolutely critical. Now let's talk about enable autofill forms. Typing in addresses and contact details can take a lot of time, especially on mobile. So whenever possible, enable autofill. Letting users fill in their data automatically, use addresses suggestions or saved information, help them check out faster, reduces errors, and overall just feels smoother. So from a UX point of view, the best checkout is the one that feels effortless. And that leads us perfectly to the next point, which is mobile first design. A lot of people shop on their phones, sometimes on a couch, sometimes on a go. So checkout really has to work well on mobile. That means big buttons, enough spacing, readable text, and forms that are easy to tap and fill in. If checkout feels frustrating, on small screens, users will simply leave, even if everything else worked perfectly. So I recommend being mindful and put a lot of effort and time into designing and improving responsiveness in your store. And another thing that helps a lot is a progress bar indicator. When users don't know how many steps are ahead, checkout can feel longer and more stressful than it actually is. So a simple progress bar, for example, showing shipping, payments, and review, gives users a sense of control. They know where they are and how close they are to the end, and that makes them more likely to continue. And finally, the last recommendation is to don't force users to create an account. Many people just want to buy quickly, especially first-time users. So if you force them to register, you're adding unnecessary friction. A much better approach is guest checkout. You can still offer login or account creation, just don't make it mandatory. If users are happy with the experience, they will be much more open to create an account later. Now I'd like to show you an example of a great checkout process where everything is in the right place and follows best UX practices. At the top, the customer is asked to provide their email address, and it's immediately explained by hovering over the element why this information is needed. Next, there are shipping information fields, and each field is clearly labeled so customer knows exactly what to enter. For fields such as country or state, drop-down menu are provided to make selection faster, reduce error, and speed up the entire process. Here, the required field is marked with red asterisk, while optional fields are not, which clearly shows the customer what is necessary. In this view, the customer is checking out as a guest, so no registration is required. There is an option to sign up or create an account here in the top right corner, but it's only an option, not a requirement. It's also important to note that there are no distraction elements at the top, no navigation menu, only the logo. And the checkout process is divided into 2 steps. The first step is shipping information, and the next step is review and payment. They both include an order summary on the right side with a product in the cart, their variant, prices, quantities, as well as additional cost details such as shipping and taxes. And in the second step, we can see the billing address section, which can be the same as shipping address by simply checking the box. So overall, this is an example of a checkout that applies key best practices, making the customer journey smooth, clear, and comfortable.